Okay, so number one is Crimson. So this is from the starter pack, and I love this colour. It's really, really bright and vivid. You can see this okay. Comes out as a really thick, strong red, and it's really bright. I'm not sure if the colour on the resolution of the screen is showing this, but it's actually a really, really bright, lovely, lovely red colour. So yeah, good strong colour, definitely one of my favourites. So that's Crimson. Next is number two. This is Vermilion. So this is more of a rusty kind of deep orangey colour. It's quite a nice strong colour, and you'll see as we go on, some of these don't come out as strong as others. So it's got a good strength to it. Nice if you kind of like to do a lot of kind of ochre kind of colours. It's nice to mix with that. But yeah, it's definitely got more of an orangey hue to that one. Number three, we've got Orange. Now, it's not the kind of orange that I would, well, it is, yeah, it is very orange, but there is another orange that we'll get to later on, which is more of what I would say as my classic orange colour, but it's quite an earthy kind of coloured orange, and it's quite a nice strong colour. So that one's good. Next we've got Golden Yellow. So this is from the starter pack as well. I'm hoping, you can say these relate to starter for a starter pack, E for expanding, S for, sorry, we'll get on to V's in a little while for vivid. So this is a golden yellow. This is a really nice strong, quite a deep yellow, more of an orangey yellow than some of the others, but again it's a good strong, good strength colour. All of these are quite strong. So these are a lot of the basic and expanding colours there. Good solid colours for you. Lemon yellow I love. It's a really good strong mixing colour. Picking up a bit of the ink from the paper as well. But yeah, it's a good classic strong yellow, really good for mixing as well. Next up we've got number 6, which is Leaf Green. This is quite it's almost like it touches on the neon green actually. It's quite light, and it's a bit more opaque than some of the other ones. It's not as strong and as dense, but really lovely if you're doing a lot of plants and foliage and things. It gives you that lighter, lighter colour in your pictures. We then have a standard green, which is much, much darker. Hoping you can see this okay. So, what determines green? Is it leaf green? Is it green? We'll have a blue green in a moment. So it's just I find it quite helpful to be able to see the colour. And it's a good little tip actually as well, because often you'll get two colours, they'll look the same if you just pick them up as a wax block, but if you scribble down on a piece of white paper, you'll get the true colour of how they look. You'll see that when we come on to some of the darker colours a little bit later. So this is our blue green, and this one's really, really lovely. Get some really lovely abstracty finishes with this one. I really like it. I don't know that I would use it so much in nature scenes. I think it's a little bit too bluey for that, although it's great for seascapes and things, adding a bit of blue in with seascapes. So yeah, that's another favourite. You'll see that I've got lots of favourites. Number 9 is Standard Blue, and this one is a pretty good nice strong colour again. We then go to Ultramarine Blue. So not too much difference you'll see between the ultramarine and the blue. There is a slight hue. This one, I don't know if you can see on the camera as well. This one is slightly lighter than the blue, but you know, a good mixer. Good mixer. You'll see when we get onto we've got Prussian blues and cobalt blues, we've got neon blues, cyan blues. So you'll see there's an awful lot of different coloured blues here. And then once we've got them all down, you'll see there's kind of a difference between how they go on to some of the others. And some apply really nicely and others just not quite so nicely. But they all have their different uses in different places. So this is violet blue. It's a nice purple. It's not as strong as one of the others that I'll show you a bit later on, but for a more of a subtle purple, that's quite a nice one. So it's number 11. Number 12 is one of my absolute favourites. This is red violet. This just goes on like a dream. When you apply this to your iron, it is smooth, it's silky, it just, oh, it's delicious. Absolutely lovely. So that's a really lovely one. Great for flowers, bit of extra foliage, really kind of livening a painting up and making it pop. So that's a definite favourite. We then go on to number 13, which is rust brown. Oops. So this is a quite good strong colour. It's great for, you know, if you're doing trees or woodland scenes, kind of your yellow ochres mixing with that. That's a good one. We then have a yellow brown, which I actually don't think it's too dissimilar to our orange that we have up here. It's actually very similar, but maybe, you know, ever so slightly more brown, but it is very, very subtle. And not forgetting that you can mix all of these colours as well, so you can always, you know, have a good mix around of mixed colours together to get your different areas. So black, standard. And actually, now that we've got to black, this is a good point to say. So what you'll find is saying one of the things to do with when you're selecting your waxes is actually have a piece of paper that you can scribble down on. So these three waxes all look to the eye as if they are black, but it's not until you have a scribble down with them that you'll see we've actually got a purple, a black, and this is like a really lovely deep blue. So you have to, same with all of them, same with the reds, same with the blues, it's not until you actually have a scribble on a white piece of paper that you'll really understand what colour you've got and you've actually picked up. So it's a good little tip for you there. So working our way through, so we're on to white, so that's pretty standard. You can't really see very much with that, but that's a white. White's really lovely, obviously, for knocking your colours back. If you just want to bring your colour down a little bit, add a little bit of white to it. Really lovely if you want some nice subtle skylines. Lovely little bit of white with some different colours in can give you some really interesting sidelines. So yeah, that one's a definite. Grey, I don't tend to use the grey all that much personally, but that's just me. So it's pretty standard. It's quite a nice strong colour. It just doesn't tend to be one that I use too much. If I want grey, I tend to mix my black and my white, and I'll add a little bit of silver in as well if I want a touch of grey. So, but you know, that's just me. Not everybody is the same. Next up, we're on number 18, which is a Prussian blue. And this one is really, really strong. It's lovely. Really nice for mixing. You get really good strong colours with this. So it's not too dissimilar to these two, but I would say it's ever so slightly crisper and stronger with that one. I like the Prussian blue a lot. I do use that quite a lot. Next up, I've got cobalt blue. And this one to my mind, is almost slightly lighter than the ultramarine, but I find it's not as strong in colour. But that can be good if you want to use it and add some clear medium with it and make it more translucent. So yeah, it's going to be more transparent than your darker ones, but I don't find it as strong if I'm trying to do a really strong painting. I don't find this cobalt blue, I don't use this one as much as I do some of the others. But again, that's just me, everybody has a different use for them. Yellow ochre. Personally, I can barely tell any difference here with our yellow brown down here. I've tried and tried, they've both come in brand new, and I find very, very little difference in them. So yeah, I think they're very, very similar. Then there's a Venetian red, which is much darker and richer, but quite lovely. When you're working with this range of colours and you get all those yellows and browns, and you can get some really, really lovely blends going on with them. Nice, strong, good, rich colour with this one. You know, you can see these two together already. They're lovely together. Umber now, plain umber, again, that same range of hues for you. It's a lighter colour. It doesn't go on as deep and as dark as some of them, but it's really got a good place for it. You know, it works nicely when you're using them in a range of similar colours. Olive green, can't do without my olive green. I love this when I'm doing nature scenes. It's a really good natural colour for any kind of foliage, you know, grasses. Yeah, great staple to have, that one, olive green. Personally, I believe. Pink, one of my all-time faves as well. This goes beautifully with the red violet. Those two complement really well together. And also with the pastels that we'll get to in a minute. So yeah, definite favourite. So we're halfway through. Try not to take too much of your time, hoping that you'll find this useful, particularly when we got onto some of the more unusual colours. So gold is gold, silver, bronze. You can never go wrong with them, really. It's lovely. I tend to use silver more than I use gold, but a little bit goes a long way. Just using it for highlights and things, really. So you can see the shimmer that we've got going on there. It's nice for just adding a little bit of shimmer and colour to your picture. Silver, another one that I can't do without. Love silver, and as I said, a little bit goes a very, very long way. It runs like mad, so use it very, very sparingly, but it's a lovely, lovely one. Next we have clear medium.